scandal.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, we've had scandal in previous years, all that sex, drugs and rock and roll, and doesn't seem to be any anymore. Or perhaps there is, but it's covered up.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Why do you think that is?
Who knows?
Who knows? Well, any
It's
thoughts
the
on that?
protectors and spin doctors and so on and so forth. They've made sure that nobody puts a foot wrong. That's what's happened, and that's just made it less human, really. Which you know, it's good to see. You know, the human aspect of a politicians, that you know they lead a life. They've had you know full of experience, and then you can trust them. But you know, so that's been that's taken the shine off. So it's been sanitised.
Well, I think there's a question about authenticity. There's 650 MPs, and they're just like the rest of society, with all the foibles and weaknesses, and we're just not seeing them anymore. So we know they're there, they're under the surface, but there's questions to be asked, and do we really know the real David Cameron? And do we know under the surface? So that's my question.
Do you think as a nation, the UK and Scotland and Wales, you know, are we disengaged with it this year, do you feel? What do you think, Sheila?
I don't know. I mean, it was fabulous even earlier on today, like when I went down to vote, and it was just fabulous to see so many people getting out there and voting. There was actually a real sense of community, certainly from what I saw, and it's just hard. I like how they've done it with the different debates. I mean, I watched the ITV leaders debate, and I found that very good to get a gist of you know, the different leaders. So I suppose it's each their own, and it is true that, okay, there is no scandals, but I suppose it is nice in the human aspect that we all mess up. So in a way it's kind of good to see see that aspect too. So it has been kind of very clean cut, if you like.
Yes, yeah. And do you think the same?
Well, I think certainly my age group seem to be engaged. I mean, the people I come across seem to be voting. But what concerns me are the younger people. We've got apprentices in the office, and they haven't even bothered registering to vote. So they're just not interested. All they're interested in is apprenticeships and tuition fees, and Facebook. And they don't really seem to have come on board and jumped on the bandwagon this year.
What do you think that is, Phil? I mean, with your parishioners, you see young and old. Would you agree with that?
I mean, one of the big things that happened after the last election, a lot of young people did go out to vote. For the first time, they were motivated to do so, and they voted for Nick Clegg, didn't they? Who was going to reduce or at least halt the tuition fees in particular. And of course, it all just didn't happen. Yeah. And of course, I mean, there were reasons for that. I mean, it was part of the coalition, and there were deals that had to be made. But that surely must have made young people think, well, hold on, what's the point? What's the point? We voted for a particular reason, and we didn't get it.
You can understand that, can't you?
Yeah.
Yes, and I mean, but do you feel it's important though, Negotiator, for the young to be engaged?
Well, I think it is. I mean, voting is compulsory in a lot of countries. You know, in Australia, and a lot nearer to home, places like Belgium and Brussels, you have to vote. And I think it's part of democracy, and I think it's part of getting involved. I mean, certainly from a parenting point of view, with our kids, we took them to the polls, and they watched us vote, put it in the box, and I must say every year since, they've gone off on their own back and they voted. So it's really down to parents to make an example.
And that's an interesting point. Do you think if the young, do they follow the parents' lead, do you think? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. From a counselling point of view, that parents do have a very big influence on their kids. You know, for a lot of children, they're the role models, if you like. So it is a case of lead by example.
So if the parents voted for a particular party, do you think that we've got some young guests on later on in the evening, so perhaps we'll ask that question to them. But do you think you would follow if your parents voted for Labour or Conservative, whoever, would the child more likely?
I think from my point of view, even though my lifestyle's changed so much in my life, I still feel to vote how my grandfathers would have voted, both being miners down the pit, you know, having hard existence, and you think, well, you know, if I change horses, will they turn over in the grave? Do you know what I mean? And
yes.
and you know, and have we actually really got anywhere, in the sense that, I mean, there was some statistic that in 1977, when the Sex Pistols were sort of at their height with anarchy in the UK and so on, actually that was the time in the UK when it's been the most level, most even in terms of distribution of wealth. And
really?
It's not got any, it's got worse. So, you know, there are issues that really do need to be dealt with, especially, you know, to be fair and just, and that's what I'm looking for in the next government.
Yeah, fair and just. Are we going to find that?
Fair and just.
Well,
Now there's a question, isn't it?
Maybe you need to be elected.
I said,
Monica. Maybe
what can I say?
You for the next Prime Minister. What do you think?
Well, that might be good. Do you think? Do you think that'd be good?
well, since
A new
when?
female Prime Minister?
Yeah, that's right. Since when has politics been fair, or life been fair? But I mean, the thing about children following parents, of course, is that the voting is supposed to be confidential. And when I voted a couple of days ago by post, there was a big thing on the front where you're not supposed to tell anybody. It's just between you and the ballot box, and that's a fundamental tenet of democracy. But I must say, my kids came along and they told me what they voted. So they seemed, they just wanted to let me know.
They didn't cancel your vote out.
But it's going to be interesting, isn't it? I mean, the results are going to be coming into the show. Throughout the show, we're going to be, obviously you're going to be staying with me, which is wonderful. But it'd be interesting to see, won't it? We probably won't hear anything until about 3 o'clock, but we're going to be hearing lots of results. And it'll be interesting, I think, to see what the first sort of set of results, coming in will be. But, we're just going to stay with us, and you're going to tell us all about yourselves, and you're going to give us a tune.
Sure, we'll lash out a song.
Or will you do that after the break?
Sure.
First, do you think?
Yeah.
That would be just wonderful, wouldn't it? And then we'll perhaps have a listen to you as well.
Yeah.
That would be
Okay.
wonderful.
Great.
Thank you. Listen, we're going to take a quick break now, so stay with us. So we're going to take a quick break now, so stay with us and come back and join me after the break. Hello and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Cuppa TV election special. So we're actually going to listen to one of your songs now. So would you like to introduce one of your songs?
David Cameron, Should He Stay or Should He Go?
Oh, off we go.
David, you gotta let us know. Should you stay or should you go? If you think that you are fine, you're completely out your mind. So you gotta let us know. Should you stay or should you go? It's always chase, chase, chase. He's got the country on its knees. First day was fine, but now it's black. He's got the shirts right off our back. Well, come on and let us know. Should you stay or should you go? Should you stay or should you go now? Should you stay or should you go now? If you go, there will be trouble. And if you stay, it will be double. So come on and let us know. His indecision's bugging me. If you don't want to set us free, exactly who we're supposed to be, or even what clothes fit me. So come on and let us know. Should he stay or should he blow? Should he stay or should he go now? Should he stay or should he go now? If he goes, there will be trouble. And if he stays, it will be double. So come on and let us know. Should he stay or should he go? Should he stay or should he go now? Should he stay or should he go now? If he goes, there will be trouble. And if he stays, it will be double. So come on and let us know. Should he stay or should he blow?
Should he stay or should he go now?
Cuppa TV.
Should he stay or should he go now?
We're rocking in the studio tonight. Excellent. Well, that's got us going, that's for certain. That was great. How fantastic was that? Well, if you're not awake now, you'll be awake after that. So that was just great. So when did you do that video?
We knocked that together in a practice room about 3 weeks ago.
No.
Yeah, in just an hour.
No.
Yeah, just well, it's a fantastic camera thing.
Yeah.
Put it on the end of the guitars.
Yes.
And just shot it. in
Yeah,
different-
great shot on the
Yeah.
guitars there. Did you notice that? So you'll have to get that on yours a bit later, Sheila.
Good
But that
stuff.
was great.
Yeah, but it's all on YouTube. Under the Home of Revisit.
Yes.
If you go to the Home of Revisit, there's lots of videos on there.
Is that where they can find it?
That's where they can find it, yeah.
Fantastic. Have we got any more to show for the night?
Yes, we have.
Oh,
yes.
fantastic. So perhaps later on in the programme we'll
that'd
show
be
a bit
good.
more, because that got us all energised,
It
didn't
did,
it?
it did.
So, you know, we were speaking during the break, but I've got to ask the question, actually. Can anybody not vote? And I was going to ask that
Well,
to
of course,
you,
the only
Sheila.
people who can't vote are people who are in prison. So if you've been sentenced for a crime, and I think there's over 80,000 people in prison at the moment, then none of those people can vote. I'm not quite sure on the whys and wherefores of that. It's kind of discriminatory in a way, because they've made a mistake and they lose their right to vote. How long are they going to be in prison? For? How long is the government there for? But I think that's the only category.
Do you think the governments will look at that and maybe change that?
The European law, I think, wants us to change that, doesn't it? I think the European Parliament, I think in some parts of Europe, prisoners can vote, and it was one of the issues that was discussed in the not too distant past. Probably with Nigel Farage, I should imagine, but anyway.
Yeah. So, Sheila, back to you, because
Yes.
you are a comedian, but you are also a counsellor.
I am
aren't you?
indeed, yes.
So, those two, counsellor, comedian.
It's
Now,
a
you've been on the
natural
Cuppa TV.
combination. It's a natural combination.
You've been on the Cuppa TV sofa before
have, yeah.
already, but for those viewers who didn't catch you, just tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, during the day I work as a qualified counsellor, so I have a private practice in Sutton Coldfield, and that's where I see clients on a one-to-one basis. And basically I deal with clients that are just, they're overwhelmed, they're not coping with life, and just things have got too much. And it can happen to any of us, where just life experiences, they all come at once, and it just gets too much for people to cope. And I give them that safe space, that non-judgmental environment, for them just a chance to offload what's going on and to come up with their own solutions.
It's a very stressful life we all lead now, isn't it? Would you agree with that? We seem to have a very stressful life. But is that because we put that stresses on ourselves, or do we blame life for those stresses?
Yeah, when you say it's changed, if you look at social media now, and I suppose, whereas before, if you were struggling, you could kind of hide, you could go missing for a couple of weeks, you could put the phone off the hook. But now with social media, there's an expectation to have your life out there all the time. And that can be very hard for some people, because some people might like their privacy and they don't want to be in front all the time. And that can put an added pressure on people.
I mean, do you see that when people come to you, Sheila? What's the biggest cause that's caused them to come to you? Is it stress, or is it something else? How do they get to come to you?
It's a mixture of different things. I mean, we'll say, for example, like, obviously I can't disclose too much.
No, of course not.
But we'll say some of the common things I do get would be, we'll say, for example, like, you could have one client where he may have been told as a child, right, okay, if you get a job, it's a job for life and you'll be sorted. And then, as you know, times have changed and there isn't that stability anymore. And the thing is that parents would have meant well, they would have passed on these beliefs, but sometimes that can leave a person feeling very disappointed because they've done what they should have done and they're not happy. And it's the same way, it's a bit like the fairy tale stories of like the Cinderella, and you meet your prince. Hello, darling. You meet your prince, and I hear you've got
We'll
money.
leave now, shall we? We'll leave.
Okay. And you meet a prince, you meet a man, and you live happily ever after. Well, in a way, isn't that dependency? Because I'm a firm believer on everybody as an adult, being their own individual and working together rather than needing to be with each other. Do you know what I mean? So it's just sometimes the beliefs can leave people feeling disappointed if things don't work out the way they expected it would do.
And do you, with your work as a counsellor, do you take that into your life in your role as a comedian? Do you use some of the experiences that you've had, and make part of your act?
Yeah, I mean, like, the lovely thing about being the comedian and the counsellor is that you see that we're all the same. We all have insecurities. We all mess up from, that, and that's just a part of being human. And I would say, with the majority is people just need to give themselves a break and being able to laugh at ourselves.
Yes,
so
I think that's really important.
It's so important not to take ourselves too seriously. And I usually say, because nobody gets out alive in a way.
And do you see that, you know, Reverend Phil, with your parishioners? Do you see people coming to you, you know, with everyday problems?
Yes.
Or has that increased?
Yes, I think it has. Probably more so when I was in a more of an urban context, and now I'm kind of in a lovely sort of well, out in the sticks really. But it can be very much a grind for people, and their hope and expectations are limited, and they can't see a way out somehow, and that can be very depressing. And so yeah, and I think the pressures of, you know, like social media and all that really is a big issue. And even for us as a cleric, you know, I mean, when I was first ordained, you know, emails were few and far between even if you had a computer. But now, you know, you spend the first sort of hour sitting at your desk sending to emails and people sort of suddenly wanting a response about something that's quite trivial. And if you don't get back to them, they kind of get a bit uppity about it.
Yes.
And, you know what I mean?
Yes, we're constantly in touch, aren't we? It's so, and we're all sort of fixed to our phones, you know. I mean, myself included, you know, it's almost like it's become an extension of our arm. And but is that a good thing? I mean, what do you think about that?
I do see a parallel in the business world, because when I deal with customers and clients, one of the common problems I see is people simply taking on too much. So they take on, instead of taking on too little, they take on too much. They might take on an extra business, a consultancy, maybe a rock band. And I think it's human nature to do that, and that possibly adds to the stress. On the top of that, I think people possibly, do people take themselves more seriously these days than they used to?
That's an interesting question.
I think they do, actually.
Yeah, maybe
I think
they
they
do.
do.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I
Sheila?
do. I think that the pressure of life, or this feeling of, you know, having to kind of, again, you know, the social media, that I think people, that they've gotten too wrapped up in that, and kind of, people need to have more fun, they need to have more of a laugh, you know, not take themselves too seriously. Have the crack.
You have the crack.
Have the
I
crack,
knew that
come
was
on.
coming. Have
You
the
know?
crack.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certainly a lot more pressure with emails these days. I remember in the old days, you know, it always took me 2 weeks to answer a letter. And I've been saying that to customers recently. It takes me 2 weeks to answer an email, and people have been going mental. That's totally unacceptable. They want it answered in 2 hours, and that's a lot more pressure.
It is. We're going to continue with this, but we've got to take another break. So stay with us. So come back and join me again after the break. Welcome back to the Cuppa TV election special. I think now it's time for a tune from you, Sheila, and she's looking the part, isn't she?
She is. She's my apprentice. She's certainly got the deal.
Do you think? Yes, you look like it. So Sheila, are you ready to rock?
I am the negotiator.
Go for it. Would you like me to pass you a guitar?
I can't
We can do a deal.
keep serious. I can't keep serious wearing those glasses.
So, Sheila, tell us what you're going to do.
Okay, I literally nicked this guitar from the green room, so I'm sorry to whoever owns this guitar. I just like to put that out there, but I thought, why not? I'm going to do one of my own songs.
Fantastic.
This is a song called Feels So Good.
Excellent.
And it's dedicated to any of you out there that have that special somebody in your life that just makes you feel really good. And now I'm not feeling myself, it's just that I like to keep my plectrum down my bra because these are the only two suckers I trust. Okay, so we're giving it a laugh.
I pray that you're here to stay, 'cause I know
Yeah.
Did you write that yourself,
I
Sheila?
did indeed. That was for my lovely man who was watching tonight.
Ah, you see, he looks like you've got the bodyguard there. By can I choose?
No, I was sleeping my office
Yeah,
open,
well,
to be
you know.
honest.
Well, I'm sure we can negotiate a deal.
Oh.
Deals to this be done.